Jonesy and Amanda's gonna room full. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jonesy and Amanda's gonna room full. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
On the cutting room floor, good news for you, friend.
What's that?
The city killer asteroid that could hit Earth in 2032 is not going to happen now.
Oh, that's good.
So the people who are running
great.
the Brisbane Olympics are going, oh, bugger. Well,
I'm hoping they'd use that as an out.
we'll get out of it because we're not going to build a stadium because a city killer asteroid is coming towards us and there's a good chance it might hit Brisbane.
So has it just disintegrated in space?
No. It's still out there. The city killer asteroid. It's called 2024 Year 4. It was discovered in December 2024 and it had a 3% chance of hitting the Earth in 2032. Scientists have now said it's got a near zero chance of striking Earth. So, look, we can all relax, except for Brisbane, as I said just before.
Isn't it funny, 3% chance? If you heard you had a 3% chance of winning the lottery, would you think they were good odds or not? Would you think, would you panic knowing you had 3% chance of it hitting the Earth?
Well, it's certainly cause for alarm, don't you think? But you don't know about anything in this life. You don't know.
You don't
until
know.
you get into the odds and things like that.
Yeah.
I will say this, though.
What?
So it's not going to hit Earth, okay?
Right.
But
What?
There's a fair chance that it could hit the moon. Now, I don't know what you know about the moon, but if it
I
hits...
know it's made of cheese.
Yeah.
And there's a man in the moon. That's all I know.
Okay, so you're an expert, I can see. But
Yeah.
if it does hit the moon...
What happens?
Well, there's a few things that could happen. It could blow the moon up. And I was just thinking if the moon went, the moon controls all our tides, all our waters. Also,
What about my ankle waters?
Also, well, I don't know. So I've done a little bit of research here. You'll be pleased to know. So without the moon, I just Googled this, by the way. It's like when you Google whoever was here before, how do you hide a body?
I was just joking. I was just joking.
So I Googled this under how do you hide a body. Actually, there's some good ideas in there, really, if you ever were.
Do you know what you're supposed to do? Don't just push one out to the water. If you're going to do that, take a screwdriver and drive it through various parts of the torso so that it will release the gases and it can sink.
Okay, well, at least we've worked out who typed in how do you find a body.
Oh, what a giveaway.
Without the moon,
What happens?
Earth's tides would be much smaller. Oh, that's not
So they wouldn't disappear, they'd just be smaller.
They'd just be smaller.
Well, that's not very dramatic.
Its axis tilt would become unstable, leading to...
The Earth's axis tilt?
Yep. Yeah. Leading to extreme climate variations and seasons, and days would be shorter.
So would it be like having complete vertigo, would go way from one side to the other?
No, I don't know about that because we're on the axis, so the world spin. You look at your globe in your office. Go and have a look at that.
Do I have to smoke a pipe while I'm in there?
The moon's... Right, okay. So without the moon, the tide would be significantly weaker, about 40% of their current strength.
What do flat earthers make of it?
Yeah, well, you'll have to Google that some other time, I would imagine. This would have a major impact on coastal ecosystems and communities that rely on tides for various activities. So if I want to go for a windsurf on that sandbar, that might ruin it for me.
Oh, that would be dreadful.
Let's
Poor
have a look at
Brendan.
the...
Whole townships would be wiped out, but if you can't go for a windsurf, that would be disastrous.
So the Earth's axis tilt, the moon helps stabilise Earth's axial tilt, which currently sits at about 23.5 degrees. Without the moon, this tilt could vary erratically, leading to extreme climate changes. Don't we have that now already?
I know.
This could result in periods with no seasons or periods with extreme seasonal variations, potentially leading to ice ages or periods of extreme heat. So why am I buying a stupid electric car then if this can just happen with the moon? The length
What are the chances of it hitting the moon? What have they said?
It doesn't actually say that, I'm afraid.
So be alarmed, but don't know the details.
The length of day... Well, no, I'm just happy that the main game, Earth, isn't being hit.
The main game.
The main game, that's what we're on right now.
Okay, but now that you know that sometimes you won't be able to go windsurfing, it's a big deal to you.
Well, I've just mastered it, you see. There's only a few things in this world that I haven't been able to master.
Oh, come on.
No, really, there's only a few things. TV, And
Maths?
forget maths, fun stuff, TV and windsurfing. And I've rounded the corner with my windsurfing.
Okay.
Length of day, the moon's gravitational pull also has a slight effect on slowing down Earth's rotation. So what would happen without the moon? Earth's rotation would speed up, potentially leading to shorter days. Some estimates suggest days could be as short as 6 to 12 hours.
So we'd have sun up, lunchtime, go to bed, all within that short period of time.
That's
I'd be
good.
quite happy with that. Look, it sounds quite attractive.
It would take a lot of pressure off other things that you do.
I'd have to have my meals close together to get 3 in.
And your work day and sex, that'd be quicker. I'm already practicing for that. There'd also be no more lunar or solar eclipses. What are the Incans going to do? They're not going to be able to sacrifice anyone anymore.
Oh, as if they could find a virgin.
It's the cutting room floor. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What has ended up on our cutting room floor today, Amanda?
It's an interesting one. They're saying that the new infidelity trend, well, what's the old infidelity trend? Just having it off with someone outside your relationship. The new one is micro-cheating.
Micro-cheating?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you hear these stories about how women feel their boyfriends are cheating if they like someone else's photograph, if it's a bikini shot or if it's a girl who they feel uncomfortable about and he's seeing their social media.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you draw the line on something like that? On direct messages. You may not feel that you're cheating by doing it, but your partner may perceive it that way. How does this work in your relationship? Is Helen a big social media person?
No. Well, she's on X a lot. She's in a big silo with that. But she's not.
Like, would she know if you were liking bikini models' photographs?
Oh, I would never like a bikini model's photograph. My daughter has a friend, Sam, who's lovely. She's got this business called Pina Koala Bikinis or something like bikini. It's a bikini business. So she's made it, and then there's a lot of pictures. Like, she's now 28. There's a lot of pictures of her parading around in bikinis. But I follow her because I'm supporting the business, and I've known the kid since she was like 14.
Yeah.
So I never like, if there's something about her business, my business has just done this and it's doing really well, and it's a picture of her sending out bikinis, I'll like that. But I won't like a picture of her walking down the beach in some sort of G-string bikini.
Interesting you say that. I've got a number of male friends who have their friends' daughters are now posting lots of pictures of themselves, and they feel very uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
It's like me looking at Robert Irwin's photographs over the weekend.
Yes.
And again and again and again.
Yes.
And so micro-cheating is what it is, that some people consider it a form of infidelity because you're building a bond with someone, one aruga emoji at a time. How would you feel if Helen formed an emotional attachment to someone at work or at the school or somewhere in her life that you feel nothing's happening, but they were getting close to a neighbour or something?
You know, it's hard to say because Helen's
Was there anything short of cheating?
look, I think sex is cheating.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
and is
that's
anything short of that not cheating?
No, I think like flirting online. I don't know because Helen doesn't do it.
How do you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't check. And really, do you want to know?
But if say like someone had a neighbour and they were spending some time with them, and you like, is it cheating if you feel a bit crushy on somebody? You wouldn't tell your partner that because
No.
they'd be outraged.
You keep that to yourself.
But are you allowed to have your, like I see often blogs with people saying that's how it starts. You can't afford to have a single feeling about someone. But we're all in workplaces. We all have emotions. You can't shut down all of your emotions. It's how you manage them and where you draw the line. And what they're saying here, I guess, is you may not be drawing the line in the same place your partner is.
Yeah, it's real man-woman stuff, isn't it? Because men, like, I would never have transactional sex. I'm not a transactional sex kind of guy. You know what I mean? I've been in a relationship for a long time. And, you know, I had a couple of one-night stands when I was an 80s.
I thought you were going to say recently.
80s DJ. And that was the last time. So I've never had, all the sex I've had is meaningful sex. You know, in my life.
But would your how would you feel about a crushie? How would your wife feel if you had a crushie? How would you feel if Helen had a crushie?
Oh, she has. She's told me about them.
Really? So she tells you about them?
Yeah, she said there was a few things. I remember there was a builder that she was working on the house, and she was always a bit flirty with him. I didn't feel threatened by it.
If you told her something similar, what would happen?
There was one time we were out to dinner and this waitress, for some reason, I didn't notice it, but Helen called her jiggly tits.
Right.
This waitress kept coming over and, while I was every time, and she didn't talk to Helen in any way. It was always to me. And she said, look at jiggly tits. She's coming back. And I said, and I didn't even, honestly, I did not notice. I didn't even see it. I didn't.
Are you sure you didn't?
And it wasn't until she pointed it out.
Because I've been with you where people might come to you and you say afterwards, I didn't even know. You go, yeah, you have this inner flirtation.
No,
I'm a
gregarious person.
I know, and I know where you draw the line. But to other people, it may look like you're being flirtatious. So jiggly tits, Ms. Jiggly Tits, may have been taking cues from you that you're not aware you're giving. When you said, won't you sit here on your lap?
As I'm wiping my face.
I wasn't going to say.
That's not the case. It's not the case at all. I think men are very oblivious about stuff.
I don't know. But it's interesting, isn't it, that anyway, that is the new micro-cheating. Yeah, right, we all draw the line somewhere else. This is the new trend in America too. It's this kind of, if the women who are saying, my husband can have no female friends. See, when women say it to men, we think, oh, it's funny. When men do it to women, it's coercive control and we don't tolerate it. But maybe we should be looking at it the other way around too.
Mm-hmm. And when Miss Jiggly Tits comes round, ask to see the specials.
That name's such a giveaway, isn't it?
Ask to see the specials.
I'm glad we've resolved nothing.
Hey, get ready. Everybody here is some more. Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Hey, get ready. Everybody here is some more. Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
On the cutting room floor today.
Something I saw that was very interesting. Alyssa Healy, an Australian cricketer, was discussing overarm bowling. And that seems like a natural movement to get speed behind the ball, etc.
Yep.
Well, she said, and this is true, that a female actually invented overarm bowling. Until then, everyone bowled underarm.
Really?
And this female, Christiana Willis, frustrated with her underarm bowling action because it kept snagging on her big skirts. She allegedly started throwing the ball over her head, leading to the development of overarm bowling in the 1800s.
Really?
Yes, because if she bowled underarm, her skirts got in the way. So she suggested it to her husband, and 15 years later, he apparently decided this is the best way to go about it, and everyone started bowling overarm.
Well, he took a while to come across with that 15 years later.
Yeah, and then he pretended it was his idea, I bet.
Of course, that's such a man thing to do.
But all you have to do is say to any New Zealander, underarm bowling, and you will ignite a fire. It's like mentioning Rainbow Warrior is the other one. They are the two things to set off a Kiwi. Also, if you say that Australia invented the pavlova, 3 things. Okay. Actually, there's probably 10 things. Crowded house. I don't care whose they are. Let it go. But let's go back to the underarm bowling.
A trigger warning for any Kiwis listening.
This was, I'll set the scene. It was February 1981 at the MCG, the third final of the Benson and Hedges World Series Cup. Now, New Zealand had managed to get really close to the Australian tally. They just needed a 6 off the last ball to tie the game. And here's what happened.
229, and New Zealand's only hope now is a 6 off the last ball for a tie.
Well, it looks to me as if they're going to bowl underarm off the last ball. They're going to bowl an underarm. Have you ever believed it? And that's a disappointing finish. Disappointed Brian McKechnie, the crowd boo. And it's all over. After 50 overs, New Zealand 8 for 229.
The skipper, everyone was covered in ignominy, not glory. The skipper was Greg Chappell. He instructed the bowler, who happened to be his brother, Trevor Chappell, to bowl underarm. And Australia hated it. New Zealand hated it. It was everything that people didn't like about cricket. Where was the sportsmanship?
And how did they get to that point whether they could bowl the ball underarm. Was that a well-known rule? What was the ruling?
Well, here is actually Richie Benaud, because they were wondering, it was unethical, but it was legal. Here it is being discussed afterwards by Richie Benaud.
No wonder the New Zealanders are disappointed, and none of them more disappointed than their skipper, Geoffrey Howe. There he is now, and I know exactly the reason he's out there. He's played his cricket over in the United Kingdom with Surrey for a number of years, and the Benson and Hedges domestic competition there is a series of rules designed to make the game flow freely and to avoid incidents such as the one that happened here today. Now, there is the relevant rule on page 2, and it says that no bowler shall be permitted to bowl underarm, and that's what Geoffrey Howarth is out there talking to them about. It is not in the Australian Benson Hedges World Series Cup rules because the administrators didn't put it in. I hope they put it in by tomorrow morning, otherwise there'll be a lot of criticism for what was a disgraceful performance out there today.
Red tape, eh?
And now let's discuss who invented the pavlova.
Hey, get ready. Everybody here's tomorrow. Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
What do we got there on the cutting room floor today, friend?
I've got a story of crazy coincidence.
Yep.
A giant what are the chances and a sad what are the chances. This is the story that apparently sounds impossible but is 100% true.
Okay.
On July 18, 1975, a young man called Erskine Eben tragically lost his life when his moped collided with a taxi in Hamilton. An unfortunate, I'm reading the story, an unfortunate but not uncommon accident. But here's where it gets eerie. Are you ready? Lean in, Brendan.
Okay.
Exactly 1 year earlier, July 18, 1974, his brother Neville died in the exact same way. Riding the same moped, crashing into the same taxi, driven by the same driver, carrying the same passenger on the same stretch of road. Both boys were age 17.
Whoa.
That's a giant whoa. The chilling coincidence, it says here, sparked a full inquest, ultimately clearing the taxi driver of any wrongdoing. How weird's that? And the passenger, you think, this is the opposite of a lucky day for everyone.
So the odds of that happening.
Do the maths. Really hard.
They are.
So the mystery, they say here, even though the taxi driver was cleared of wrongdoing, the mystery refuses to fade. Some believe it was a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah. The Pete Evanses of the world. Yeah, right.
But maybe in parallel universes there's a giant glitch, because coincidences like this, sure they can happen, but at what odds? And they say others suspect something more sinister, theories of fate, déjà vu, a planned murder. Like, why would you? The same passenger. That's the freaky thing.
That's freaky.
Same bicycle.
Moped.
Same taxi driver, same taxi, same passenger, same place.
And same date.
Same day.
There are a lot of variables
Same
there.
family.
I've not as in any way as amazing as that when I first got my first radio job.
I can't imagine this would be anywhere near as
in Western
amazing as
Australia. I landed in Perth, and the taxi driver that took me from the airport to where I was going to stay before I went on the next flight up to Karratha, we just got to talking, and I talked about radio and all that sort of stuff and all my hopes and dreams. And he said, well, good luck with that, mate. And we had this great chat. We had a really good chat, me and this guy. And then he said, good luck. Hope to see you again. 2 years later, I've left Karratha and I'm now heading home to take a job in Muswellbrook. I get out of at the airport. I get into the cab, and the guy goes, "You again." 2 years later,
wow,
exactly the same cab, same driver. He said, "Where are you off to?" I said, "I've got a new job. I'm going back to Sydney." And he said, "Oh, well, you got a job on the big time radio." I went, no, Muswellbrook. But, to me it was the big time. And he didn't charge me. He took me and took me to where I was staying, and that was it. He said, "Mate."
See, these things can happen, can't they?
It can, but...
It can happen. Like I went to London and a friend of mine said, "Look up my brother." And I said, as if I'm going to do that. And on the last day I felt obliged to, better have a look. And he was living in the flat underneath where I was staying. And I only knew that because I saw his name on a letter that was left at the front door.
What are the chances?
What are the chances? Stuff can happen. it's easy for us to say, what are the chances? The poor parents of these two boys.
Yeah.
But
well, that's bad chances. You
that's
want good
bad.
chances.
You want good chances. You want, like that story of that guy who won $1 million, say it was, on the lottery. Remember this Australian man?
Yes, yeah.
And then the news crew filmed him reenacting, filling out the lotto form.
Yep.
And while they're filming him, he goes, I've won. And they go, yeah, we know. He goes, no, I've won again.
I've won
again.
What are the chances? What are the chances?
Is that what ABBA wrote about, So You Win Again? Is that their song?
I knew there was a chance you'd bring up some horrible ABBA reference.
What are the chances?
Hey, 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 everybody, it's time for Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Hey, 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 everybody, it's time for Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. It's the cutting room floor.
Here we are on the cutting room floor. What have we got today, Amanda?
Well, coming up to Easter, I thought maybe we should look at gluttony.
Okay.
And the downside of overindulging in sweet treats.
This is good if we end up at one of those Christian radio stations or Christian radio stations.
If we end up with Christian.
And we could, today we're talking about gluttony.
Oh, which is the one you'd like to talk about most of the 7 deadly sins? Lust, probably.
Lust is good. Well, no, it's not good. It's
not
there.
good.
Avarice, greed.
Was avarice one?
Avarice was one.
I saw there was a nice girl's name.
I'm pretty sure avarice is the same as envy, though, isn't it?
Yeah. What are they? What are the deadly sins?
Okay.
Are there 7?
Yeah.
Lust, gluttony,
sloth, avarice, greed, coveting your neighbour's ass,
angriness, and passive aggressiveness. I think we've rounded it out.
There should be a modern take on
there should be.
the 7 deadly sins.
Being up yourself?
Being up yourself, definitely. Yeah. I think that's
being a tool, same thing maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Well, let me tell you this. This is from a history page, what I done following that. Swedish King Adolf Fredrik died in 1771 after eating 14 cinnamon buns. I had to dive deeper because I thought, that's a lot of cinnamon buns, but you shouldn't die after eating 14 of them.
It's a lot of bread.
Well, do you want to know what else he ate? So the whole story is he had all these sweet treats and he died.
But he also ate a porcupine.
Here's what he died. He had an extremely heavy meal on Shrove Tuesday. Mm-hmm. His feast included lobster, caviar, sauerkraut and lots of champagne. But what stood out most was his dessert, they say. He reportedly had 14 semla pastries or semia pastries, cinnamon bun-like treats served in hot milk. Later that evening, he died from what was likely heart failure or a stroke. He's often remembered, and this is beautiful, as a king who ate himself to death.
Yeah.
If you're a king, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, being good to the kingdom.
Being good to the kingdom.
When people say, that King Jonesy.
He was good. He was good to the kingdom.
You see the aqueducts and all that stuff. And
you sure he's not the one who drank himself to death?
That could be King Jonesy.
Here's another Easter story.
I like Easter stories.
Although
I would say
little
this.
Wabbits. Yeah.
Before you go on to that.
Yeah.
If I was the king, I'd probably back off the gluttony a little bit because there's a lot of food groups that I can't eat together.
Well, no, we know that now. We don't know that. We didn't know that then. Henry VIII, even Elton John, ate everything, then would make himself sick to eat again. Yeah. Because there was no self-restraint. That's the point of it. It's not saying, hey, God, I've got too much cholesterol.
But there are food groups that disagree with you. I can't eat surf and turf. I think, in the wild, those two proteins don't combine.
Well, do you think in the wild you can have chocolate M&Ms and bloody
I'm just saying
blue Skittles? You eat those things.
No, I don't.
Well, people do.
But not me. But surf and turf, that gives me trouble.
I would say to you...
if they were leading me to the block about to chop my head off for being good to the kingdom, I'd say, well, can my last meal be surf and turf? Because then I'll be willing on the guillotine.
But then what if you get a reprieve from the governor? Say, no, I'm going to die. Let me just go.
I've got to pass a lot of wind.
Well, if you were a king, I think that's the whole point, is you push through what your body tells you. In the old days.
Yeah.
Can we move on to Wascally Wabbits?
Back to the rabbits.
So this is interesting. Napoleon Bonaparte was feared on the battlefield, as we know. But in 1807, maybe only 50 years after the Swedish king Adolf Fredrik ate himself to death, he faced an enemy he never saw coming, hundreds of charging rabbits. Hoping to celebrate a recent military victory, he ordered his chief of staff, Alexandre Berthier, to organise a grand rabbit hunt. So he thought that this would be great for entertainment. He gathered his men around and gathered hundreds of rabbits. Instead of fleeing, the rabbits, who were semi-domesticated, charged at him. They overwhelmed him in a bizarre scene that forced him to retreat. So this big war hero, terrified soldiers, all in the sphere of where he was terrifying.
Yeah.
My history is a bit blank. Terrified of these rabbits. They had to retreat because the rabbits chased them.
It's like, I might date myself a little bit here, but you'll certainly know this episode of The Goodies, the Watership Down one, when the rabbits turned on the goodies.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Remember Watership Down? Did you go and see it at the cinema? It had that Art Garfunkel song that was really slow.
Right.
And I thought everyone thinks it's going to be cute. Am I imagining they died from myxomatosis, or was that a joke?
No, they just got run over on a country road.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they got run over or shot.
There was a sadness to it.
Did they die in a spider web? Oh, no, that was Charlotte's Web.
That was The Fly. We never went to the movies when we were kids. We never did. But I remember Mum taking me to see Beatrix Potter. And because I so rarely saw anything, I thought it was the most exciting thing until I realised it was boring.
What a depressing life.
It wasn't a depressing life, but the neighbours took us to see Born Free. Yeah. But I don't remember seeing Bambi. I don't remember all these movies that have defined a generation. Sound of Music, I first saw that when I was about 16. It was on the TV and my father and I became cynical and slagged it off. I didn't see any of these. My auntie said she was going to take me to see Mary Poppins. I'm still waiting. She's in her 80s. I'm still waiting, Auntie Julie.
Come on, Auntie Julie. My cinematic experiences were largely Herbie Goes,
I
Monte
saw
Carlo,
those at
Bananas.
the drive-in.
Yeah,
my parents took us to the drive-in.
And then I remember very vividly we were going to Luna Park, and we got to Luna Park and it was closed. And I was a 9-year-old boy, and I had no idea that you could close Luna Park.
Yeah.
And Dad said, "Okay, mate, well, it's closed."
Tantrum?
No, I couldn't. I said, "Yeah, but when are we going in?" "No, mate, it's closed. Those big metal gates under the mouth. I mean, it's closed."
His dad was saying, "Sorry, everyone. I'll explain it to him again."
It's closed. So then my cousin said, "Well, why don't we go and see a movie?" He was a bit older than me. And the offerings were Rocky or Star Wars. And I adored my older cousin. He would have been about 12 when I was 9, so he was my hero. And he said, "Yeah, let's see Rocky. I want to see Rocky." And I went, yeah. And then they were telling me a bit, someone said, "Is that the one where he cuts his eyes?" You know, in Rocky, he's getting punched so much by Apollo Creed. He goes, "Mickey, you got to cut me, you got to cut me." And he cuts his eyes so he can see, you know, the puffiness of the eyes. And that freaked me out a bit. And then my other cousin said, "Why don't we go and see Star Wars? That's really good." And I was, "Oh, what's in that?" And they said, "Oh, it's great. They get munched up by this monster in this swamp." And I went, "Oh, I don't know if I want to watch that either." But I remember seeing Star Wars and that opening scene where the big battle cruiser comes out and my dad just going, "Jesus," as it came. Yeah. And that sticks with me my whole life.
One about my movie experiences, my brother and I took the train into town to see a movie, and we were going in to see some Bill Cosby film or something, and instead we saw Alvin Purple.
What Bill Cosby? Was it Mother Jugs and Speed?
No, it wouldn't have been that. It was something very G-rated. And instead we saw Alvin Purple.
There you go.
And we came home and kept making jokes. And Mum finally said, "What movie did you see?" I said, "Oh, nothing."
But that was all sex.
It was all horrible sex.
And you saw it with your brother.
It was all big, just boobs and sex.
Boobs and bush. Which was a theatre restaurant of the time.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Okay, kids, that's it for today. Come back tomorrow for more Jonesy Amanda's Cutting Room Floor.